We've looked at three elements of clarity. One, what I want, what I'm going to do, and the timeline. Let's have a look at the other two elements, being clear on the prices required and being clear on why it's important. Here you can have clarity at two levels, at a superficial intellectual level and at a deep internalized level. To explain what we mean by that, let's look at clarity on the two parameters we just mentioned. The first parameter is clarity on the pros of a decision or the benefits we'll get. This is the why of the decision. The second parameter is clarity on the cons of a decision, the prices we'll need to pay or the risks we'll need to be willing to take. Now, if somebody has a low level of clarity on both these parameters, there is a word they use, and that word is I should. You'll hear people saying things like, I should exercise, or I should eat healthy, or I shouldn't lose my temper. If you hear somebody say things like, I should go to the gym this evening, then you can guess they don't have a deep level of clarity. Because if they were clear, they wouldn't say, I should go to the gym. They would say, I'm going to the gym this evening. When they say, I should go, what they're really saying is that intellectually I know it makes sense for me to go to the gym, but that clarity isn't so deep that I can be sure that I will actually go to the gym. Now, when someone doesn't do the things that they think they should do, or they do the things that they think they shouldn't do, then they will end up feeling the emotion of guilt. If they keep doing this, I should eat healthy, I should exercise, but they never actually do it, then one day there will be consequences. They go to the doctor and find that their sugar levels are off the charts, or their blood pressure is high. Then they start eating salads and struggling on the treadmill, and when they look at the past, they say, I should have, and feel the emotion of regret, but at that moment they use the words, I have to. I have to avoid sweet foods, or I have to exercise. Anytime you use these sort of words, I have to work with that difficult client, I have to deal with the traffic to work, you start feeling the emotion of pressure. And of course, it's not true. There are no have tos in life. So why do we say we have to do something when we're actually choosing to do it? It's because we have forgotten why we're doing it. We're very clear on the prices of running on the treadmill because we're actually paying them. We're sweating and exhausted, but we've forgotten why. It's not that I have to exercise. I choose to exercise because I want to be fit and healthy. When you forget the why, that's when you'll start feeling the emotion of pressure, compulsion, stress. Now, on the other side, there are occasions when we're very clear on why we want something, but we haven't identified the prices we need to pay to make it happen. So for example, I want to leave office every day at 6 p.m. because I want to spend time with my 5-year-old kid. Here, the why is very clear. I love my kid. But the prices haven't been identified and accepted. And so we end up saying the word can't. I want to leave every day at 6 p.m., but I can't. Again, it's not true because there are people who do leave at 6 p.m., but there are prices that need to be paid. You might need to ask your boss if it's possible not to have meetings that start after 4 p.m. And then he or she might think you're not prioritizing your work and give the promotion to someone else. It's a possible price. Or you might need to delegate to your team and they might make mistakes. That's a possible price. You might need to invest 2 days in a time management workshop, but you've got all these pending emails. So people end up saying things like, I can't say no, or I'm unable to stop myself from losing my temper. If you said, I can't fly, we would not dispute that. But in many cases, people say, I can't because it allows them to stay in their comfort zone and not pay the prices they need to get what they want in life. These words tell you when you don't have clarity. I should or I'm supposed to. I must or I have to. I can't, I'm unable to, or I couldn't. But when you're clear, you look at the pros and cons of making a choice. If the benefits are more than the prices, then you don't say, I should, I can't, I have to. You say, I will. If the prices of making a choice are more than the benefits, then you say, I won't. That's clarity. You end up saying, I want this, so this is what I'll do. I don't want this, so this is what I will not do. Now, why do we use words like should, have to, can't? It's because we're taught to as children. When my 2-year-old is about to stick his finger in the electricity socket, I don't give him a lecture on the dangers of electricity. I just say, you can't touch this for their safety. So growing up, we're programmed by rules from parents and society to keep us safe. You have to study for your exam. You can't stay out later than 10 p.m. You should say thank you to your grandma if she buys you a birthday gift. And these rules are fine to have as children, but when you're a fully grown adult moving towards leadership, then the only phrases you use are I will, or I won't, or I haven't decided yet. Now, it may seem like we're focusing a lot on specific phrases, and you might think that they're just words or it's about the English language. Maybe. But let us offer you the perspective to consider that the words we use are not accidents, but reflect something about the way we think. And we're not for a second suggesting that there are rules about what words you should use. We use these words all the time in our regular conversations. You should have seen the expression on a face, you can't be serious, you have to see that movie. Not only that, but there is no law that says you need to have clarity on every single thing in your life. Do you like that book? I guess you don't have to make your mind up on that question. It's not important enough to require that you're clear on the answer. It might actually be stressful and counterproductive to think you do need to have clarity on everything. But if you find yourself using these phrases in areas that are important to you, you might want to pay attention and think through the matter more deeply till you have clarity on those areas. Here's a formula for you that captures a statement of clarity. I want A, so I will do B. By time C, I'm willing to pay price D because what's really important to me is E. When the ancient rishis of India invented yoga, they didn't do it to tie their body up in knots. It was because they believed that the mastery of their bodies was the pathway to mastery of the mind, and the mastery of the mind was the pathway to mastery of life. So what we're suggesting is not so much about a set of rules for what words to use or not use, but a practice of linguistic yoga that you can experiment with to see if it holds any value for you.